Day 16. Gratitude exercise 16 to 31. Today's a simple one. Biking or running with the dogs or dog. End of the day, took the little one out for a little bike run, getting her used to the harness. It's so cool watching her take off and just pull the bike and just be ready to rip. Just how focused she gets too. Because normally when we walk, she's still improving with leash walk, so she gets super distracted, and we kind of let her get distracted. And I think I've talked about this before. She has a real hankering for goose poop. Nice goose poop souffle. Anyway, when she's pulling the bike or got the harness on and just going with the bike, it's like she just doesn't care. She's so focused. It's a pretty neat thing to watch, and it's fun for me too because still thinking about the souffle. It's fun for me too because I'm super focused because she's still learning. So we're trying not to go super fast or for really long distance, but she's still figuring out don't run across the tires, don't stop, don't turn around and try and pee. And so I have to be super aware too to be on the brake or just dodge or something like that, or give her a reminder how to get back in line. And but God, is it cool to just watch her go. It's so fun. Watching things learn is a pretty satisfying experience. Maybe that's the little gratitude day 16 part A, but the first part or part B, the first part is, biking and running with the dogs. Oh, I absolutely love it. I wish I could be doing it right now. I probably could. Wouldn't make the neighbors happy. Dog actually, now she'd be into it. So that's where we're at today. Got off to a little strength day today, which was fun. Sun was out, garage door open. Squeezing a little 30-minute strength sesh, did a 9x3 deadlift, and then 5 rounds of 5 back squat, and then a 1K bike, C2 bike, which was really nice to just kind of squeeze that in, get back to work, and get some good sunshine in. Trying hard to get the strength days in. I know, right? What a challenge. Do a strength day. What a baby I am. But anyway, they feel good. It's nice what you do a deadlift and you think that'll make your low back and hamstrings sore, but what kills me is my upper back and chest holding on to that weight. Sometimes it's the little muscles that just go. I think that stuff is so fun to see what happens there. So enjoying that process. Gonna go and coach the early class tomorrow morning, and then probably should check in on what they're doing. And I'll get a little workout in. I usually do the class workout, but there's some other little ones I've seen lately that I want to give a shot. And go from there. Some things I had on my mind. I wanted to talk about your life is going well when your algorithm is basically just Legos, video game joke memes, and dogs. That's how I know when I'm peak life, because that means I'm just looking at things on Instagram that make me super happy. And it's a lot of this stuff is luxury stuff. So I think that's really fun. For some reason, there's this goofy thing going around right now with Madonna's Like a Prayer song, the choir or what version, and different video game memes. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll think I'm an idiot. And if you do know, respect. But yeah, just Legos and dogs. I would say things aren't going well. It's bad when your Instagram feed is all political snippets from pundits and talking heads and podcasts. And basically, I've come to the conclusion that if your political news is not or more boring than C-SPAN, it basically is the mental nutritional value of eating Pop Rocks. Gets you excited, feels good going down, zero nourishing value, probably really bad for your teeth and the rest of your head and your stomach. And then everything that comes after that. That's my thought on sort of political news at this point, whatever side it is. If it's exciting and controversial, it's probably shit value in terms of intellectual value, interest value. But I get why, the detailed side of politics and economics is you'd rather scratch your eyeballs out with a dull spoon. So there you go. I hope your Instagram reel is filled with all the silliness of your life and not too serious stuff. That was really all I had on my mind today, was just those couple of things. The other thing I was thinking about the other day, I was talking to someone and, they were just mentioning, how do you talk to somebody? We talked about this before. How do you talk to somebody in the gym or who's going through a spot in their life where they have an injury or, a nice strong reason that they think they have to not go back into the gym or exercise or take care of themselves. This is an interesting conversation. Like, I've become way less righteous about this as I've gotten older. I want to be here as a resource. If you want to get in, I want to help you get in. I don't know how willing I am to take on the ownership of making you go back. Some sort of like self-help interventionalism. And this got me thinking, I think for the most part, you want to try and, just have some sort of attraction, set a good example, if someone asks, always give them the option to join, to work out, give them some information. Hey, what are you doing? How would I do that? Give them the information. Because if you decide to sign up to control them, to make them do a thing, I think if you want to control someone's behavior, and right now we're just talking about the concept of like coaching and fitness, but this I think could apply elsewhere. If you want to control somebody else's behavior because maybe they're suffering or they're having a hard time or whatever it is, and you decide that like, I'm going to expect that I'm going to impact you to control your behavior, I also think in some way you're going to inherit some of their suffering. You don't inherit the same exact suffering, but you sign yourself up for suffering because it's an unrealistic expectation to think you're going to control somebody. So you're going to have some nasty bumps and bruises along the way. And then even though you sign yourself up for that, you still have no control over the person. And so I think it's challenging in those situations as the coach to just not fix it for them. There's something else I want to talk about here that I picked up a long time ago from Al-Anon family groups, but there's a line in one of their books about you got to give people the dignity of being themselves. And man, I think about that one a lot. That's a big one. We'll talk about that at a different time. But anyway, my point was, you got somebody struggling with something, doesn't want to go back in the gym, whatever. You might call it an excuse, or they feel like they have a valid reason of why they can't get back at it. And I run into a lot of this. And again, it's not my job to control somebody. I feel like that. But some advice I heard a long time ago, someone said to me, Mike Lunadelli, I worked with him. Didn't really work with him, but I knew him at Reebok when I worked there. And he said to me once, how old was I when he said this to me? It's probably back in 2010-ish, maybe. So 15 years ago. So I was 24, early 20s. Younger guy than I am now. But he said, you can't get hurt doing something you love. Because I was actually coming off an injury I had, shoulder injury I had, training, frustrated. And he said, hey, you can't get hurt doing something you love. And man, at that time, I thought I understood what he meant. And I was like, cool, yep, if I love it, I won't get hurt. And at that time, I thought I knew what he meant, and I didn't. And I think after 15 years of reflecting on this advice, so I've been pretty durable, but I've had a couple bumps and bruises, watched other people work through injuries. I think it was more to the extent now how I look at it, and maybe different, you have a different perspective on it. But how I look at it now, you can't get hurt doing something you love, is, if I'm in love with improving myself through fitness, if I'm in love with competing, man, there are a lot of ways to do that. And if I get some sort of injury, I can get back to doing something I love. The injury's not going to stop me from doing that. I know. You're like, well, what if you got really injured? But the more I've thought about this, it's really true. You can't get hurt doing something you love. You can get injuries along the way. But, if you love it, the process becomes healing, repairing from the injury. You're still doing the thing you love. That's not hurt. That's something that you can that you can recover from and have control over. That's how I think of that now. And I've been thinking about that one for a long time. And I've seen some friends who have had some big injuries, small injuries, and how when they have not loved it, how that injury, and we've talked about this before too, becomes the point of worship. That becomes the only thing. And if you don't love what you're doing and you get an injury, man, you fucking get hurt. I'll tell you that. It's a lot harder to come back from. Anyway, all in all, epic day biking with the dog. I'm actually going to go shop for harnesses right now. So not for me, for the dog. But fired up for the rest of the week. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Keep doing the thing you love.